Ty Borden is back. After years away, the man who left a mark on Heartland and in everyone's hearts is finally returning, and nothing will ever be the same. Memories flood every corner of the ranch, the barn where he first learned to ride, the quiet fields where he shared laughter and tears with Amy and the kids. But with his return comes more than just nostalgia. Old wounds that were thought healed start to reopen, questions left unanswered hover in the air, and the lives of those who stayed behind will face a storm they never expected. Lyndy, who grew up without knowing her father, is about to meet him for the first time, and Amy, who has always carried the weight of the family, is forced to confront feelings she thought she had buried. This is not just a reunion, it is a reckoning, a chance for love, understanding, and perhaps forgiveness. But will Heartland's familiar fields bring healing or chaos? The sun rises over Heartland, casting golden light across the fields, and for the first time in years, Ty Borden rides down the familiar trail that leads to the ranch. Every step of his horse echoes in the quiet morning, stirring memories that feel both distant and alive. He pauses at the old barn, where the smell of hay and leather instantly takes him back to the days he learned to care for horses, the days filled with laughter, hard work, and the simple rhythm of life on the ranch. The wind carries whispers of the past, the sound of Amy's voice calling him for breakfast, the laughter of children running through the fields, the faint scent of rain-soaked earth after long summer storms. Ty takes a deep breath, holding back emotions that threaten to spill over, knowing that his return is more than a visit. It is a turning point, a moment where the past and present collide. The ranch, so familiar yet changed in subtle ways, greets him like an old friend, every corner holding memories of the life he left behind. As he steps off his horse, he notices the small details, the worn fence where he first taught a young foal to trust, the gate that creaks just the same, the old oak tree where he once made promises to loved ones. His eyes scan the horizon, searching for faces that may have changed, for people whose hearts he hopes still remember him. The anticipation of seeing Amy, of witnessing the life she built while he was gone, fills him with a mixture of joy and trepidation. T's hands brushed against the railing of the barn, lingering for a moment, as if reaching for the ghost of memories past. He walks slowly through the familiar spaces, every step measured, careful not to disturb the quiet that has settled over the ranch during his absence. The horses stir at his presence, their heads turning curiously, sensing a familiar soul returning to the land they know so well. In the kitchen, he can almost imagine the scent of fresh bread, the clatter of dishes, and the warm presence of family gatherings. It is here, in these quiet, almost sacred moments, that the weight of the years away settles on him. He has been gone for so long, yet everything feels unchanged, almost suspended in time. T's heart races with the thought of seeing the people who shaped his life, and yet he fears the change he might discover in their eyes, the unspoken words that could turn reunion into tension. The fields stretch endlessly before him, each blade of grass carrying stories of joy and sorrow, love and loss, reminding him that time has moved forward while he was gone. He finds a quiet spot overlooking the paddocks, letting the wind brush against his face, trying to steady the storm inside him. He knows that every step from here on will not just be about returning to a place, but about reconnecting with hearts, with stories that continued without him. Ty Borden's return is not just a homecoming. It is the beginning of a chapter that promises hope, pain, and rediscovery, where the past will meet the present, and the future will hang in the balance. The ranch holds its breath, the horses watch, the wind whispers, and Ty, after all these years, finally steps into a world that has waited for him. Unsure if it will embrace him or challenge him with the changes time has brought. Each moment, each heartbeat, each glance at the familiar yet altered surroundings carries the weight of anticipation, the fear of rejection, and the hope for acceptance. And in this quiet, charged pause, Ty knows that the first step he takes beyond the barn doors is more than a step across the land. It is a step back into the lives of those he loves, a step toward facing the past he left behind, and a step into the emotional storm that is about to unfold across Heartland. Lyndy stands at the edge of the old porch, her hands gripping the railing as if it could anchor her in the moment that is about to change everything. She has spent years imagining what meeting her father would be like, wondering if he would recognize her, if he would feel the same connection she has always carried in her heart. The barn doors creak open, and she catches a glimpse of him before he even sees her. The familiar shape of Borden stepping into the light, his presence both comforting and overwhelming. Her breath catches memories of stories told by Amy, moments she has held onto about the man who shaped so much of the past, swirl in her mind like a storm of emotions. Her feet feel rooted to the ground, but her heart is racing, a mix of excitement, fear, and hope all tangled together. She watches as Ty pauses, taking in the ranch as if it has waited just for him. Unaware yet of the daughter standing close. By holding her own pulse in check, the wind brushes against her face, carrying faint scents of hay and earth, the same scents her father once loved. Pulling at something deep inside her, a longing she didn't fully understand until this very moment. Lyndy's fingers tighten on the railing as she steps forward, hesitant, unsure if she should call out or simply wait and let him notice her on his own. Each heartbeat echoes in her ears, louder than the rustle of leaves, louder than the distant calls of horses, reminding her that this is no ordinary meeting. This is the moment she has been waiting for her entire life. T's eyes scan the barnyard, lingering on places she has never been, places he once knew intimately, and then, almost instinctively, they meet hers. It is a fleeting moment, a spark of recognition that feels like both an eternity and a heartbeat, a silent acknowledgement of connection that has been dormant, but never lost. Lyndy's chest tightens as emotions she didn't realize were there rise up: curiosity, hope, a fragile sense of belonging. Her mind races through all the questions she has kept locked away. Why did he leave? What has he felt all these years? Does he even know the person she has become? Yet before she can speak, before she can move, Ty takes a step forward, and the world seems to slow. The familiar sounds of Heartland, the soft clop of a horse, the distant crow of a rooster fade into the background, leaving only the two of them standing on the edge of years of separation. She can see the same warmth she imagined in his eyes, tempered with caution. The kind of careful gentleness that comes from someone who knows the weight of the past but is unsure how the present will are. I see them, her lips part, words forming, but not yet spoken. Her mind spinning through a lifetime of imagined conversations and unasked questions. The distance between them feels impossibly small and impossibly large at the same time, as if the years melted away in the moment of recognition. Yet the unknown stretches ahead like a horizon she cannot yet see. Lyndy's heart flutters. A mixture of fear and hope pressing against her ribcage, urging her forward, yet whispering caution. This moment is fragile, and everything could change with a single word. She notices the subtle details: how his hands brush against the old wooden railing, how the sunlight catches in his hair, how his posture reflects both strength and vulnerability, and in those small things, she feels the connection she has dreamed of, the invisible thread that has kept them tied together across years and miles. And as the minutes stretch, with neither moving too quickly, with neither speaking yet, the tension, the anticipation, and the raw, unspoken emotion fills the air. This is more than a meeting. It is a reckoning of absence and presence, of lost time and the hope of reconciling past pain. In that silent, potent moment, Lyndy understands that the journey she imagined meeting her father would be about curiosity or closure alone is far deeper. It is about the intricate weaving of hearts, the fragile trust of family, and the delicate dance of letting someone back into your life when they were gone for so long. Every inhale, every shift of weight, every glance exchanged carries years of longing and uncertainty. And as Ty slowly reaches out, a silent invitation to bridge the gap, Lyndy knows that this meeting, while simple in action, is monumental in emotion, setting the stage for a bond that must be carefully nurtured, tested, and ultimately, if both hearts are willing, fully restored. Amy watches from the edge of the barn, her hands clenched loosely at her sides, heart pounding in a rhythm. she can't quite control. She has always been the one holding the family together, keeping the ranch running, and protecting the ones she loves from heartbreak, yet in this moment, she feels unexpectedly unsteady. As if the ground beneath her has shifted, her eyes follow T's movements each step he takes across the familiar land, each glance he casts toward Lyndy, each pause that seems loaded with memories she has long carried in her own heart. Amy's chest tightens, not with anger, but with a confusing swirl of emotions she isn't ready to name. Relief that he is finally here. Fear of how his return could disrupt the life she has built. Sadness for the years lost, and an almost invisible thread of hope that some of what was once broken might now be repaired. She watches Lyndy step forward, hesitant yet determined, and a pang of protectiveness shoots through her. Amy has always been a guardian, sometimes firm, sometimes gentle, but now she realizes that she is witnessing not just a reunion, but the fragile crossing of emotional territory she cannot fully control. Every small expression, every subtle movement between father and daughter seems magnified in her mind, stirring memories she had tucked away, quiet conversations with Ty before he left. Laughter shared over small victories on the ranch, moments of connection that felt ordinary at the time but now shine brightly in hindsight. Amy's hands fidget with the hem of her sleeve as she silently wrestles with a familiar inner voice that has guided her through storms before. Caution first, heart second, but now, for the first time, she feels torn between wanting to step forward and intervene, and wanting to let the moment unfold naturally, trusting that whatever has been delayed for years might now find its way. The ranch feels heavier somehow, charged with an energy that neither the horses nor the wind seem to disturb. Amy senses the tension in the air, the delicate balancing act between past and present, absence and return, love and fear. And she wonders if she has prepared herself enough to handle what is about to unfold. Her mind flashes briefly to the nights she spent thinking about Ty, about what might have been, about the child who grew up without a father and the man who returned to find a life that had moved forward without him. A wave of conflicting feelings washes over her. She wants to be glad, she wants to forgive, she wants to trust, but the instinct to protect her family, especially Lyndy, rises as strongly as ever. And she knows that this reunion is not as simple as a smile or a hug. She notices the small ways Ty interacts with the surroundings, the gentle way he touches the gate, the lingering glance at the barn where memories were made, and a soft ache stirs inside her. A reminder that time has passed, that life has changed, and that their shared past cannot simply be picked up and continued. Amy's breath catches as she steps slightly closer, careful not to intrude. Feeling a strange combination of pride and vulnerability. She is proud of Lyndy for stepping forward with courage, proud of herself for maintaining the ranch and family through the years. Yet she feels vulnerable in her heart because she knows that T's return could bring both healing and heartache. In ways she cannot predict, each second stretches, filled with unspoken words, tentative glances, and the raw weight of emotions left unexpressed for years. The subtle tension builds between observation and involvement, between restraint and the natural desire to step in and shape the moment to protect the ones she loves. Amy's inner world is a quiet battlefield, hope and fear, forgiveness and doubt, joy and caution intertwining with every movement and glance exchanged across the barnyard. She feels the air around her pulse with potential, knowing that the next word spoken, the next gesture made, could either bridge gaps or reveal the cracks time has left behind. And as she watches Ty and Lyndy navigate their delicate first steps toward connection, Amy realizes that her own reaction, her own ability to balance caution with compassion, will play an equally important role in how this reunion unfolds, shaping the heart of the family she has fought so hard to protect. She exhales slowly, grounding herself in the present while carrying the weight of the past, understanding that this moment is more than a meeting. It is the beginning of a fragile, uncertain, yet deeply necessary chapter for all of them, where love, forgiveness, and trust must find their way. Even after years of separation, silence, and longing, the air around the ranch feels heavier now. charged with unspoken words and lingering questions as Ty, Lyndy, and Amy find themselves caught in a moment that holds more weight than any of them expected. The sun dips lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the familiar fields, and every sound, the distant clop of a horse, the rustle of leaves, the faint squeak of a barn door, feels amplified. As if the land itself is listening, holding its breath for what is about to unfold. Ty shifts slightly, his hands brushing against the worn wood of the barn railing, his eyes flicking between Amy and Lyndy, weighing each expression, reading the tension etched on their faces. Lyndy takes a cautious step forward, a mixture of hope and hesitation in her posture. The kind of hope that has been nurtured through years of wondering what it would mean to finally meet her father. Mai remains slightly behind, watching, processing, her mind racing through every scenario, every way this could either heal or hurt the family she has worked so hard to hold together. The silence stretches, thick and almost suffocating, and within it, the invisible threads of the past start to tug at each heart, reminding them of old mistakes, unresolved feelings, and the reality that love alone does not erase years of absence or the pain that accompanies it. Ty swallows, a faint tremor betraying the calm he's trying to maintain as he thinks about the choices he made, the life he left behind, and the daughter he is seeing for the first time. Wondering if he can bridge the gap that time and distance have carved. Lyndy's eyes glisten with inch tears as she steadies him, taking in not just the man before her but the person behind the years of absence, the father she has imagined, the stranger she has longed to know, the man whose presence now carries both reassurance and uncertainty. Amy shifts slightly, feeling the delicate balance of power and emotion, realizing that her role is not just observer but mediator, protector, and perhaps the quiet voice of reason in a storm of pent-up feelings. The tension between them is almost tangible, a fragile web of past regrets and future possibilities, where every glance, every pause, every subtle gesture carries meaning. Ty finally speaks, his voice soft yet steady, carrying the weight of years spent away and the hope of rebuilding what was once broken. His words stir something deep within Lyndy, a mixture of relief, disbelief, and the fragile spark of connection that only grows stronger with acknowledgement. Amy listens, her chest tight with conflicting emotions, relief that the moment has arrived, fear that things could spiral, and a cautious optimism that perhaps, finally, hearts can start to mend. The quiet intensity of the scene is broken only by the small, almost imperceptible movements, the shift of a foot, the brush of a hand against wood, the blink of an eye, and within those movements, the real drama unfolds. Old tensions bubble just beneath the surface, memories and hurt that have never fully healed. Yet there is also a tentative tenderness, a willingness to engage, to face what was left unresolved, to open doors that have long remained closed. Every heartbeat in the barnyard seems synchronized with the unspoken acknowledgement that this reunion is more than a meeting. It is a test of patience, trust, and the strength of familial bonds. Shadows stretch longer, the golden light fading. And in that delicate moment between day and night, the emotions reach a crescendo, a mix of hope, fear, and anticipation that makes the silence almost unbearable. Ty's presence, once a memory, now tangible and real, forces each person to confront feelings they have carried in solitude, to reconcile what was lost with what is present, and to decide how much they are willing to risk in the name of love. And family, Lyndy's tentative smiles, Amy's protective glances, Ty's careful steps all combine to create a mosaic of fragile human emotion, each piece colored by the past yet illuminated by the possibility of the future. And as the wind whispers through the trees and the horses shift in the paddocks, there is a sense that something fundamental has begun, not just a reunion of people, but a reckoning of hearts, a reshaping of relationships, and the fragile, thrilling possibility that after years of absence, forgiveness, understanding, and even joy may find their place once more at Heartland. In that charged, quiet moment, every thought, every feeling, every glance matters, and the ranch itself seems to hold its breath, waiting to see if the bonds of family can survive the turbulence of the past and the uncertainty of the present, standing at the threshold of a new chapter where love, tension, and hope intertwine in ways none of them could have predicted. The ranch settles into an uneasy calm as the sun dips further, painting the fields in shades of gold and amber. But beneath the quiet, the air hums with possibilities, tensions, and questions that promise to shape the days to come. T's return is no longer just a moment. It has set off ripples that touch every heart on Heartland, sending each character into a delicate dance of emotions, choices, and uncertainties. Lyndy lingers near the barn, her mind a whirlwind of thoughts about who her father is now, what his return means for her, and how much of the bond she has imagined over the years can be real, alive, and shared. She senses that this first meeting is only the beginning, that the journey ahead will test both her patience and her courage, and that the memories of absence will not simply vanish overnight. Amy, ever vigilant, feels the weight of responsibility pressing on her chest, aware that she must navigate not only her own feelings of protectiveness, past hurt, and cautious hope, but also the fragile emotions of those around her. She knows that T's presence may bring healing, but it may also bring challenges, secrets, and dilemmas that will force every member of the family to confront aspects of themselves and each other that they